Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Akeem from Pro Football Exclusive, here to give you some more advice headed towards the 2014 fantasy football year. Now during this preseason, I've been seeing a lot of wild, crazy proposals and trades headed towards this season and before the season even began. And even for one particular team and person and his team with a selection headed towards this season. Now even within our own Pro Football Exclusive trade league, my man Justin has decided to trade Demarius Thomas to Tim's, Jordy Nelson, and Jordan Cameron from the Cleveland Browns. Now, I think this was a pretty dumb trade for my man Tim, a smart trade for Justin, but for Tim, I'm not really feeling this particular trade because Jordy Nelson should be the #1 target for Aaron Rodgers, who is coming back this upcoming season, and Jordan Cameron is a top 5 tight end. To trade these two particular players for Demarius Thomas, now I'm not hating on Demarius Thomas. He is a great receiver, but this was too big of a trade. Before the season even began, I'm not agreeing with him with this particular selection. But that is not even the bigger trade that I've seen. Now during this offseason with another particular league, and they told me not to call them out, but I noticed that one particular trade, I thought this was crazy. A particular team has decided to trade Jimmy Graham and Reggie Bush for who? Adrian Peterson already? That's just stupid, ridiculous. Are you serious right now? You decided to trade the #1 tight end and a good running back in Reggie Bush for Adrian Peterson? Come on, how much time? How much is left in the tank for Adrian Peterson? We don't even know if he's going to have another big year. He is projected to have a good year, and he is within my top 3 running backs. But I don't think this was worth the trade already for Jimmy Graham and Reggie Bush. Now, if the person who decided to trade away Adrian Peterson, that was a great idea. Same with my man Justin and trading DT for Jordy Nelson and Jordan Cameron. But I just disagree with these trades already, and I think that people need to start pumping their brakes a little bit and stop already decided to go with trades. Now, if you're decided to go with a trade, go with a mediocre player, a good player with a mediocre player for a great player. Those are great trades. An example would be like a Zach Stacy and possibly like a Roddy White for a Demarius Thomas. That is a better trade compared to Jordy Nelson, a #1 receiver for the Packers, and Jordan Cameron. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you just a better example. I think you guys need to pump your brakes with the trade and at least wait a couple of weeks into the season to pick up to then decide to come up with big trades like that. It's way too early for you guys. Now, another particular player that I wanted to evaluate a little bit more is Calvin Johnson from the Detroit Lions. Now, a lot of people, I'm noticing a lot more people is having him develop as the #1 receiver headed towards this draft, and I respect that. He is a big target, but he is not worth a top 5 selection. One of my friends, my personal friends, I'm not going to say his name, he told me not to say his name, has decided to pick Calvin Johnson 2nd overall. Are you serious right now? I think the first top 5 picks should go with the running back, and the player who can be in consideration of a top 5 pick, and the only player who should be in consideration is Peyton Manning, the quarterback for the Denver Broncos. I thought that was not a wise move. I even think that Jimmy Graham is a bigger projected player than Calvin Johnson in the 1st round. Seriously, and I explained in my video, one of my previous videos before, that Jimmy Graham has a 55-point difference from last season's points from the 2nd place tight end overall according to ESPN. And I think that Jimmy Graham, because of that value and that big gap, I think that Jimmy Graham, who is a tight end who could give you some receiver points, should be ahead of Calvin Johnson as far as availability and projected players overall. That's why I'm just really a little disappointed in my man. Like I told you, I'm not going to say his name, but going back to Calvin Johnson, he is a great player, but he is not worth top 5 potential, and possibly not even a 1st round, but a late 1st round at best, but not a top 5, not even a top 7 selection. Seriously, I disagree with that particular selection. But as far as trades, I think that people need to at least wait until the end of the preseason, at least get a glimpse of what your players can do. Even if you believe that your team is sorry and you picked up some bad players, at least give them a chance to see how they can develop during the preseason. It is way too early to do a trade, particularly 2 huge trades, like as I mentioned earlier in this video. But I have to give a shout out to both my man Justin and Tim. I wish Tim the best. I think this was a terrible trade, but for Justin, this was a great trade for you guys. I'm not sure if it's going to go through yet, but the trade was proposed, so we will see. Now, the next I'm going to catch you guys is later on in the season. I'm going to talk, probably headed towards week 1 of this year. But if I have some more advice for you guys, I'm going to give you that just before the season begins, as well as the college football season. I am so excited. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Pro Football Exclusive. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.